If your engine rattles when idling, it's not recommended to drive this engine without understanding the reason why it rattles. And I have 7 possible reasons for that, and I will list them in this video. So the first and maybe the most common reason is the rattling timing chain. If your engine has the chain, you should check this chain first of all if you hear any rattling noise. It's a very serious issue. If the timing chain jumps, it will destroy your engine. Checking the timing chain is pretty complicated. It's not a DIY job, and you will need to go to the dealership or to some repair shop to do this. But usually chains live quite a long life, so if you have a 2-year-old car with 50,000 miles on it, it's not likely the chain. Chains will stretch over time, but it's like 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles, and even more than that. Then the second issue, there is a splash plate in your car, and it may be made of metal. Sometimes it's made of plastic, but in older cars and in SUVs, in off-road vehicles, it's made of metal. And when one of the bolts that hold this splash shield unscrews, you can hear this rattling noise because one side of the splash shield will rattle when the engine is working. And it's pretty easy to check. You just need to get under your vehicle and check if all the bolts in the splash shield, which is located right under the engine, if all these bolts are on place and tightened correctly. Then another issue to check is the mounts of the exhaust pipe. The exhaust pipe in your car hangs on rubber mounts, and it's pretty easy to check. You will again need to get under your car and check every mount on the exhaust pipe, starting with the one that's located near the engine and up until the rear end of your car. So check those mounts. If one of those mounts is absent or maybe it's stretched, it's very likely that exhaust pipe just bumps on the body of your car, and this creates the rattle noise, and it's fixable for $5–10. You will just buy this rubber part, which is very cheap, and you can fix it on your own. Now, one more issue is damaged engine mounts. If the engine mount is damaged, you can shake your engine and you can hear this rattle even when the engine is off. Just shake it with your hands, and if it shakes a lot, if it moves a lot under the hood of your car, you may be sure that there is a problem with the engine mounts, and it's not fixable as a DIY thing. You will need to go to the dealership or to the repair shop to replace the engine mount. There is actually an article on my blog, the big article with the investigation and all the things, and you can read it. It's linked in the description, and learn more about every of these reasons. Then another thing which is quite difficult to check is the valve timing solenoid is stuck. If your valve timing solenoid is stuck, the problem is going to be with the engine because it will not work correctly. The valves will open too early or too late when the engine is idling, for example. But when you press the gas pedal and give some rotations, give some RPM to your engine, it's gonna be okay. So when it's shaking, when idling, it's rattling, maybe it's the valve timing solenoid that is stuck and needs to be replaced or at least cleaned. Also, one of the pretty common problems that causes rattling noise in your car is the turbocharger, because turbocharger has the impeller inside it, and this impeller over time can start rattling because it gets loose. And when it rattles, you may actually hear this even when the turbocharger is not activated, like on idling speed, you will still hear this metal rattle. And there are 2 possible ways to fix this rattle: is to replace the turbocharger or maybe to repair it. So there are cartridges that can be installed in your old turbocharger, and it's cheaper than to replace them, but actually it's not really cheap job, so you will need to pay for this. And the last issue is the problem with the block. Actually, this happens with very old engines, like 250–300,000 miles. When there is an issue with the block and pistons, and the engine starts rattling because of that, you may expect this engine to die in the nearest future. And actually, there is nothing much you can do. You can change the oil if it hasn't been changed for a long time. But actually, if it rattles and the problem is with the block, Actually, this is the end for this engine, so you will need to get ready to serious repair or to engine replacement.